Today I'm with Andy Clement with Kimberly-Clark Professional. We're at ISSA Show North America. It's just getting started. You can see all the activity here. Andy, welcome to the program. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jeff. I'm excited.
I want to talk first about your role with KCP. Very unique. Talk about that.
Yeah, I am Kimberly-Clark Professional's Chief Customer Officer, which means I'm in charge of North America sales and global accounts. Chief Customer Officer is really another way to say Chief Sales Officer, Chief Growth Officer, Chief Revenue Officer. We kind of created the customer, though, in the title just primarily so that when we're in the C-suite, we make sure the customer's, front and center and not being forgotten, which you would think is logical, but sometimes, it doesn't always happen from my experience. So that's the title.
Well, you're doing a great job, and I like that idea, that putting the customer first. That's important. Well, we're here today to talk also about a special occasion for Kimberly-Clark Professional. What is that?
Yes, so this year, 2022, is our 150th birthday at Kimberly-Clark, which is pretty amazing, actually. And it's been fun for not only everybody in KC, but me especially, because my mom was actually a historian at Penn State for 40 years, and I was a history major at Wake Forest. And I actually have gone back and looked at a lot of the history of Kimberly-Clark and found it really kind of fascinating, right? So the company was founded in 1872 by John Kimberly, Charles Clark, for $40,000. They were just operating paper mills at that time. Fast forward, became more of a CPG company. 1924, introduced a product we all know called Kleenex, but it was actually introduced as a cold care remover for women. And guess what? It flopped, okay? But it was repurposed as a disposable handkerchief and became a big success.
Wow.
So that's one product you're all familiar with. Kimberly-Clark and Scott Paper merged in 1995, and the Scott brothers in 1890 developed the first tissue on a roll, thankfully. And then in the early 1900s developed the first paper towel. And the way that came about was they had a trailer load of bath tissue that was too thick. And they didn't know what to do with it. And they'd heard about this Philadelphia school teacher who was handing out thick pieces of tissue to her students to wash their hands. And so they decided to repurpose, yes, you can see it, they repurposed that trailer load into kitchen towels, perforated kitchen towels.
Which I love.
We all take for granted.
Yep.
They sold it to restaurants, they sold it to train stations, eventually got in people's homes too. So a lot of the products that we've all kind of taken for granted, between Kleenex facial tissues, Scott towels, come actually from Kimberly-Clark in our history.
Well, that's fantastic. I love the inside story there. Great information. You've been with Kimberly-Clark for how many years?
31 years
31. Now. Over the years, what has been most meaningful to you when you think about your company and what you've seen come from it?
Yeah, a lot of great history just in my 31 years. I remember, as I mentioned a minute ago, the merger between Scott Paper and Kimberly-Clark in 1995. Scott Paper was an away-from-home B2B company. Kimberly-Clark was a consumer products company, and it brought our brands and our people together, and it's really been a fantastic fit since then. I saw introductions of technology like UCTAD paper, which makes absorbent paper towels that we all take for granted in away-from-home washrooms, and Hydronet technology as well, which is our non-woven technology, where it gives us wipers for cleaning and wiping, gives you strength and absorbency. So things like that really come to mind of many of the things I've seen, as well as, of course, the amazing change in our industry with the consolidation. I think there were about 20,000 Jansan distributors when I started as a field rep in 1991. You got maybe less than 1,000 now, so it's been a big change.
Consolidation's happening.
Yes.
Yeah. So you shared a lot of history. It's interesting. Speak to Kimberly-Clark Professional's impact on the industry, making a difference. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, Kimberly-Clark is all about making exceptional workplaces. That's part of our mission statement. And we do that through a lot of ways. We do it through innovation, like we've introduced a lot of great products to the industry, like Icon dispensers, which is our big product launch this year, and our Onvation system, which is our IoT washroom system. But we do more than innovation. We're a very sustainable company. 87% of the fiber we buy is from sustainable sources. And we've introduced products like Right Cycle, which is actually a way to take disposable gloves and disposable apparel, make it into pellets, which is made then into furniture that can be used in people's yards. So it's a big sustainability effort there. Additionally, Kimberly-Clark's done an amazing job for diversity and inclusion. And then, especially over the past 2.5 years, keeping our employees safe, especially in our mills, has been a big focus.
Yeah. Let's talk about the relationship that KCP has with ISSA. I know we've done some work together, programs during the pandemic. What do you think about that? How do you value that?
Yeah, I mean, we've been members of ISSA now for 37 years, so more than my entire career at Kimberly-Clark, and we've done a lot of things together. A couple that come to mind, in 2020 when the pandemic hit, we gave a donation to GBAC to basically train contract cleaners and cleaners on how to clean given COVID, right? And I think we had, 6,300 cleaners get trained from 3,400 different organizations in 84 countries, right? Which was really a great way to give back to the industry and really helped, make GBAC what it is today. Additionally, we've been very big in HYGEA, okay, which is, of course, the diversity initiative that ISSA supports and recognized a couple times even last year as relates to a top company for that.
Absolutely. So, 150 years. You folks are older than ISSA, but ISSA is about to celebrate 100 years.
It's amazing.
What do you think of that?
I think it's awesome. I mean, to think of all the generations between ISSA and Kimberly-Clark that have had to kind of work together, be resilient, pivot to make sure these organizations stayed successful. And throughout all of it, we've promoted hygiene and we brought the industry together. So I think it's really great to appreciate and recognize these events.
Two, I guess we could say old organizations, but still young, lots to do. Looking forward to what's next. Well, let me toss this at you. What's next for KCP?
Next for KCP, I mean, really looking forward to seeing our customers, talking about a lot of the initiatives I mentioned on innovation, on sustainability, emphasizing our brands for everybody, continuing to be a big part of ISSA, and really excited to see the Rethink Clean campaign that ISSA is launching as well. We haven't, maybe I'm jumping ahead.
No. So your thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, really excited to see what ISSA is doing to promote hygiene, to build product brands, solution brands, business for distribution, and promote for end users how important hand washing, hand drying, cleaning is within our industry. So I think it's fantastic.
And doing it all together.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Andy.
Thanks, Jeff.